Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today I'm going to be doing a book review on Skin Deep by Brandon Sanderson. This is the second book in the Legion series of novellas that Brandon Sanderson puts out every once in a while. It follows a guy named Stephen Leeds who is a detective, sort of. He's a problem solver, he solves mysteries. He doesn't have a very definitive job title, he just gets hired for an enormous amount of money to solve people's problems for them. But Stephen Leeds is not just a regular human being. Experts think that Stephen Leeds has schizophrenia, but that's just the closest thing that they can call what he has. He hallucinates different people and he calls them aspects, and the hallucinations, the aspects, all have different specialties and help him solve cases. Some of the main ones you follow are Tobias, who is a historian. He's an elderly black man, and for some reason he's always described as an aging aspect, so I don't know, I feel like he's not too secure in this series. There's also Ivy, who is his hallucinated psychiatrist. Really, Tobias and Ivy are his two main people that help him think things through. There's also a character named JC who has some military background and he knows a lot about guns and everything like that, and he is really the comedic relief. I mean, this book is just funny, but he's also adding an extra layer of comedy to the whole story. As this is the second book, I'm not going to go into detail about what this is about plot-wise, but as usual with my book reviews, I'm going to go through my pros, my cons, give you my rating, and be done. My first pro for this book is that I just think that it had a better plot than the first one. I was way more engaged, it was way more intriguing, I really wanted to know what was happening in this one. In the first one it was fine, but it was more focused on the character of Stephen Leeds, and in this one, on top of really exploring Stephen Leeds and his mind, hallucinations, and everything like that, there's also a more substantial plot that's happening. I also like that there's more character development of these different hallucinations and of Stephen Leeds himself, as well as just characters surrounding him, like people in real life as well. His aspects start to have these histories, and they have other things that are going on that are not just popping up to help him solve cases. They have their own lives that happen away from Stephen Leeds's consciousness, and I really liked learning about the different aspects, and I really liked that there were more aspects that were introduced in this one, and I really liked that some of the aspects that were just kind of talked about in the first one come to the foreground and you learn a lot more about them. Another thing that I liked is that he could have made this series very episodic and have it reset. So he solves a case and it resets, and then in the next book he solves another case. But there are things that happen in the first book that come into play in this one, and there's seeds that are being brought through the series, and so not everything is solved in this book. But I really like that things from the first book affected this book, and I feel like over time with this series it's just going to get more and more and more interesting and have a bunch of different things that are happening. I'm worried that it'll probably start turning into novels because this one is 200 and something pages, 206 or something like that, and so it's probably gonna end up being novel length at some point. And my last pro for this book is going to be that it just let the hallucinations and the different aspects really shine. They really came into their own, and they were more substantial characters in this book that really had an effect on what was happening. And I really loved how funny JC was in this book. It was just an incredibly good time, and I am definitely looking forward to seeing where Stephen Leeds and all of these different people, aspects, hallucinations go with him in the future of the series. Now I'm going to talk about some of the cons that I have. Number one is going to be that I don't know when the third one is going to come out. There aren't any definitive plans currently that it's going to come out in 2 years or anything like that. I think it's just whenever he decides to write it, that's when it'll get released. So I don't know when the third one is going to come out. And then also, one of the cons that I had for the first book was that it was very convenient, and I thought that this one was also a little bit convenient. There's a lot of things that happen plot-wise outside of our view into the novel, and so I feel like when things happen and they get solved or things just work out, it just seems convenient that we don't get to see that background information that those other things are happening. It's just like, oh, that one line from like 5 pages ago, yeah, that's why this all worked out. So I just wish we would see more struggle in this series and see the character really have to work hard. But I guess that's part of Stephen Leeds' charm, is that he solves these cases almost effortlessly. I don't know, it's starting to become a neutral for me, but for this book, it still kind of took away from my reading experience. So overall, I really enjoyed this book a lot. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars out of 5 stars. I think I gave the first one 3.5 stars out of 5 stars, so it just seems like this series is going to continue to get better and better and better. But yeah, I definitely recommend it if you're a big Brandon Sanderson fan. So that's going to be my review on Legion Skin Deep by Brandon Sanderson. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below if you've read this series or not. If you have, who's your favorite aspect? I have a huge list list of them all. Here's a list of some of the new characters, and then on this page is all the ones from the first one. So definitely let me know who's your favorite down below, and anything else you want to tell me, leave that down below as well, and I will talk to you guys next time.